And I'm tempted to ask, how do you think the sports media landscape pretty much changed from the time you first started to now, and what role do you think technology and social media also played into shaping this new modern sports industry landscape pretty much? Yeah.
Um, but now where consumers will access sports through so many different ways and devices, and the fact that you have this device where you're not only communicating and making calls with and connecting with people, but this is the source of your sports news and information.
Indeed.
You watch sports, and you don't just get scores and have a digital presence. You watch it, and of course now companies, sports networks, and brands advertise more digitally than they do on television, and that just happened a few years ago. Like, that was a big thing. It kept getting the margin kept shrinking, where it was like digital was getting closer to television, and television. I mean, advertising has been such a big part of consuming sports over the years on TV, and it finally got passed by all of the digital channels and networks that we have. That's where the advertising
Yep.
dollars are headed more now. So I think people accessing highlights, not necessarily watching an entire game, but watching highlights on any of the platforms, and there's so many of them. Whatever your favorite platform is, will have access to um, sports news and information. So, what I saw happening, and this was a big fat part of my foundation for my sports tech class, which we started about 2014, so a little over a decade ago, was I saw this competition starting to take shape. I call it at home, where you have this great, your great home entertainment systems that make it more attractive to stay at home and consume everything there, not battle traffic and high prices for
Yeah.
tickets and parking and merchandise and food to stay home. So the at home portion versus, we'll call it in home versus in venue. And now, when you do go to these sports stadiums and arenas, I mean, you've got technology like we've never had it before, providing a really powerful, visceral sports experience. Now, some people will tell you it's too loud. Some will tell you they like the vibe because it feels like a party. Some will say it's almost like going to a club. Tone it down a little bit. I've heard all of these things, but the point is that the teams and the leagues want to make sure that if they get you out of your home and into the stadium, that you kind of have a dazzling experience. And one of the first to really understand that was Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys,
Yeah.
because he heard everybody say, I can have a better experience watching the Cowboys games at home than I can going to a stadium. So he said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. You come to my stadium, and I'm going to give you a better viewing experience of the screens if you just look up than you have in your own home. And oh, by the way, if you look down, you can actually see the game in real time. And so that gave, so you have those incredible scoreboard um, that, that that the Cowboys have, that other stadiums have replicated. But the idea was, when you go to a game there, you look up, and it's hard to take your eyes off the screen. But if you look down, that's where the game is taking place. And I've always said that, as somebody that's been blessed to have attended a lot of incredible sporting events over the years, your currency as a sports fan is having been to the game. Not I saw it on TV,
Yeah.
or I saw it on my phone, but I was there. I rushed the field, or I was there with all of the, my brethren that follow this team, and we shared it because sports is very communal. And that's really your currency as a sports fan, to tell somebody, I was there. What? You were there, that you were at the game? I was there. So that's why I think the in-venue experience will never go away, but I think it's getting more challenging to get folks out of their home when you have so much to offer them if they stay home. Interactive networks, we're going to see more of that have statistical overlay capabilities for players. Before the shot goes up, they can tell you what their shooting percentage is, depending on what part of the court they're at. They're doing all sorts of interesting things. Steve Ballmer is doing it with the Clippers, with Clipper Vision. And so it's just it's an exciting time. Some people will tell you that it's too much, too distracting, but I would just say you can pick and choose, and you can sort of create your own coverage, in a sense, of what's most important to you when you watch a game. And you have all the statistical analysis in front of you as well. That can help you enjoy the game more. It's not much different than players. Do you want to load players up with all of this statistical information, or do you just maybe you give it to them in smaller doses, whatever they're comfortable with? That's kind of what fans are going through too. But they're going to have the technology, to make you feel like you really are there, putting a headset on or something that gives you an immersive experience. We're seeing that with a building like Cosm in LA, which basically is like it's like a sports bar on steroids. You sit down and you watch a game, and they have their own cameras in stadiums, and you feel like, wow, it's like another level of being there beyond a television camera. But you're there with people. So it's a communal experience. And all of these things are part of what's right now and what is on the horizon. There's things coming down the road we don't even know about, but it's exciting because it's fun to see what might be coming down the road.